Now, more than ever, the word home has taken on a new significance. Our homes have become our workplaces, our schools, our entertainment hubs, and our personal sanctuaries. At Dwell with Dignity, we bring a sense of home and safety to those who have never had it before. Join us as we talk to designers, artists, and creatives about what home means to them, how they shelter and style, and why giving transformational design to those less fortunate is so important. I'm Ashley Sharp, and this is Dwelling Well. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Dwelling Well. My name is Ashley Sharp, and I am the Executive Director of Dwell with Dignity. I am so excited to have an amazing, beautiful soul with me here today. Hi, Zara. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Ashley. Nice to be here. Thank you. I'm so excited.
So, Zara, can you tell our audience a little bit more about yourself, what you do, where you come from, those sort of things?
Yes. So I do interior design, and I went to school for it in North Texas. Right out of school, I started working for Jan Showers, and I've been with her for 15 years. I pretty much have been in Irving, Texas for most of my life. I was born in Canada, but my family's from Barbados, so I'm an island girl at heart, love warm weather, love water, and I definitely have a heavy Caribbean influence in everything I do.
So I actually didn't know that. So my father is from Haiti, and then my family moved to Montreal, so they're in Canada now.
Oh, yes.
So
yes.
I understand.
Yes.
And I do not have the Haitian influence, and I'm trying to get more of it in my life. I was always very black and white and gray. So now as I get older, I'm starting to embrace a bit more color.
Yeah, a little more color. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but tell me about how you got started in design, because obviously you went to school for it. You know, you're an acclaimed designer, but what did you find kind of led you into that passion in the first place?
Well, originally, I actually wanted to be a pediatrician. Then it turned into a neonatal specialist. And in high school, they offered a medical course. And once I saw the cadavers, I was like, that's not for me. I'm not going to do that. And then they had an introduction to interior design class. And my father was in the hotel industry, and he was an engineer, and he always came home with blueprints, like the old school blueprints, with their blueprints. And that class really got me interested in design because I didn't know a lot about it. And once I discovered it and I excelled in that class, and then it was just there, the rest is history.
I think that's so neat. And something that I'm really interested in is design in the hospitality industry, because that's an entirely different subject. I mean, you have personal design, commercial design, and then hospitality design.
It is. And I was lucky enough to get an internship with Morrison Seifert Murphy when I was in college, and I got a peek into that world. And that was a great experience for me as well to learn about, because it's a lot different than residential design.
I think that's so neat. So I know that you love style. So how does your personal style relate to your design philosophy, if at all?
I think I probably design style, love color, and I probably should wear more color. I definitely love black, I love white, I love leopard print, animal skin. So you'll definitely see that influence in design as well. But my design style a lot more color than I probably wear. And every now and again, I'll do a pop of color earrings. I just realized I didn't put on earrings today, but that's normally where I'll add in a pop in color. So I would say my style is probably more neutral and probably clean lines. And my design style is probably more fun and experimenting with color and pattern and print.
Well, and I think it's so great that you have this really unique perspective, but then you also work for this established designer, Jan Showers. So how does your style mix with the style of the brand?
Yes, well, it mixes very well. I remember looking at her website before I interviewed for her, and I loved everything she did. She has classic lines, and she would use color, and I loved her style. So I definitely mix very, very well with what she does. It has feminine quality, and I'm definitely a girly girl, and I love that. I love pink and blues and purples and golds, and just the way she mixes color so classically and so timeless. That is a big draw because I like things to be timeless. I don't like when things are too out of the box that are not you're not gonna love it in 20 years. So I love that about her, and it definitely is influenced. We mesh very well together.
So speaking of girly girls, you have a 16-year-old daughter. So
I
is she
do.
interested in style or design at all?
She is interested in fashion. I don't think her bedroom, with her, I think she's interested in both, but from her perspective. So she loves color, loves being creative. I'll go in her room, she moves it around, or she'll start putting things on her wall. And I just believe in letting her express her creativity and however she likes. And as a teenager, I know your room is such a personal space and you want it to reflect to you. So it may not match all the design rules, quote unquote, but I like for her to have an expression of who she is and not try to go in a room and say, that's not right because you're supposed to do this, the scale of this or what, I just have to just look, encourage her for who she is and let her express her own creativity.
Well, and I know that everyone's kind of had to pivot with quarantining and sheltering at home. So how did your home change when the shelter-in-place orders came, and how did you carve out a space to homeschool, but also have a space for yourself as a sanctuary?
Yeah, so that was a challenging process, but we've actually used more of our home during these times, a lot more time in the dining room and places that you probably reserve for only entertaining or certain times of the year. So that was, I think, really fun for me to experience and spend time in places in my house that I normally don't spend time in. And for her, definitely having a designated work area and really clearly defining a space for work, sleep, and play. So you can keep a separation between that. So that's something that we did.
Well, and I think that's so important too, is that you go into a room, you go and you have your zone, then you go to the next one. And so that way you don't feel like you've been stuck in the same place all day.
Exactly. Change of environment. We went outside a lot. It's outside for breaks, outside for lunch, and really trying to utilize everywhere, including outside, as best as we could, especially when the weather was not as hot as it is now in Texas. It was a lot nicer.
Texas summers are definitely brutal.
Yes.
So I'm interested in your home, and I know that you've been obviously into design for a long time and collecting pieces, but is there a piece that you've had with you for a long time that's maybe gone with you from all of your moves, or a piece that has a lot of sentimental history for you?
Well, I actually have a pair of Jan's lamps from Jan's line that used to be in her line that were discontinued, and it's this beautiful aqua color, and I adore them. And when I knew that we weren't going to have them anymore because the factory couldn't make that color, I definitely jumped on a chance to own a pair, and it worked out. And that's probably something I love. And then of course my family photos, things that I've had, my daughter when she was a baby. I love that, and I definitely have put more photos around the house. You haven't gotten things I haven't gotten time to. I didn't have time to frame previously. I took time to do that, put more photos in frames, and get things printed because everything's on the iPhone. And so I did that to definitely make my space more personal to me.
Well, and that leads me into a great question. I know a lot of people are scared of changing up their place too much. They kind of get into a style rut. They get something and that's all that they keep. So what's your philosophy? Do you constantly update, or do you find something you love and you just stick with it?
I'm still updating. I think at my age, I'm still discovering me and who I am, and still discovering my style. So when I travel, I love getting something from wherever I am, and I'll have collections of things or just put things around me that make me happy, no matter where it's from. Sometimes it's something, a cute candle from Target or a little vase from Target, to something from an antique piece that's a vintage bowl or something, and I'll have that too. So I'll just surround myself with things that make me happy and express who I am. But a lot of photos of my daughter, of course.
I love that. It makes it really personal and unique to you. So speaking of shopping, I love to shop. I'm a huge thrift shopper, and obviously I love to shop our thrift studio. So where do you like to go to find pieces for installs and also for yourself?
Yeah. Lulu Bees in Dallas is a great place. I'm sure you know where it's just great. You can just go in there. I think I always find something. That's a great place. Online, Cherish, Etsy. I think those are great places to find things that are vintage or handmade or unique. You can get, your personalized drawings. I just feel like it's so amazing, the internet and what you can do. And easily, I love Etsy that you can look for vintage or handmade and find what you're looking for.
Well, and I love giving vintage or handmade for gifts. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people don't think about is when they go into a store that not necessarily you have to buy something for your place, but buying something for someone else's house is really a beautiful way of showing that you care about them and that you know who they are.
Exactly. And making it personal to them. So if you have somebody that loves to cook, I mean, even a vintage cookbook, I mean, just tailoring gifts to whoever you're giving it to, I think is really special. And especially when it's vintage, when you can't just go to a store and find it.
So would you say that you have a high-low mix, that you like to get things from a lot of different places?
Definitely a high-low mix. I'll definitely make something that's I'll save for something that I may really want, or I'll find things, Target, Target, Etsy, those two places I love. So definitely a high-low mix. And books, I love coffee table books. I definitely have those displayed just for inspiration. I got Rihanna's book, and I'll have it open a different page each day, and it's a huge book. And so that's something that I'll find inspiration from.
Well, what I love about those, they're conversation pieces too. So it reflects a bit about you, and then it also gives someone who comes to visit an opportunity to learn more about your heritage, and then also maybe just find some inspiration for themselves, which I think is so neat.
Exactly. Exactly.
So speaking of saving up for a piece, is there anything that you want to add to your house that you've kind of had your eye on?
There's this wallpaper by a lady. Actually, she's from Haiti, and it's just with women's faces in it. It's describing different phases of a woman's life, and Black women. And I think that's just it's got a bright yellow background, and that's something that I have my eye on to get as soon as I can.
Okay, so I spoke to Eddie Maestri the other day of Maestri Studios, and we talked about wallpaper, and he said wallpaper is back. Do you think that's true?
Absolutely. It never left.
Okay, so how do you use wallpaper? Do you like it to be a statement? Do you like to cover an entire room or ceiling with it? Like, what's your wallpaper philosophy?
I guess it depends on the paper. I think most times a whole room is best, but I think some instances it can be used like art. But I think most times doing a whole room when you can is a great place. But if not, you've seen Gracie panels framed in a bamboo frame or another nice frame. If you can't do the whole room, that still adds, it's like an art piece. So I think it depends on the type of wallpaper, but it could be applied in both instances.
So do you find that your clients are receptive to using wallpaper nowadays, or people kind of like, oh my gosh, that's so 80s?
Oh, no. I feel like almost every project has wallpaper in it. Most everyone that we've done, from a powder room to a bar, and it's because you can do raffia on the walls. So somebody that doesn't like print it doesn't have to be a print. It could be a grass cloth. Philip Jeffries has amazing. We probably have them in every project we use. Great solids or in colors, and I think you can do so many things with wallpaper. Even if you're wrapping tables and coffee tables and wallpaper, there's so many options for wallpaper that I think can be done classy and do not look 80s at all.
And I love how creative your approach is, that you're open to trying it a lot of different ways. It's not just, okay, this goes on the wall, but it's just so fun to hear about that. And one thing that I love is I do love a really bold powder room. I think that's really fun. Yeah. So what's one of the most memorable projects or installs that you've done for a client?
Oh, that's a hard one. There's this house in Scottsdale that was a really amazing project. It took 8 years, and the team was amazing. And I think we worked on it for so long, and the client loves antiques, so we collected vintage pieces over time, and that's a very memorable project just because of the length of it, and just seeing all the amazing pieces and knowing how long it took and to put it together, and happy. I love that they're thrilled with the house. That down to a fun library that was deep red. That was the second project that I worked on, a house in Austin. I love that house. It was a great experience, and I loved how it turned out, and a lot of people loved that home. We just finished a job in Aspen last year, and that was really fun. The client was really wallpaper, and it was upholstered walls and a plaid, actually, which some people may be like, ooh, plaid, but it was done so tastefully. And
I love a plaid. Yes.
So great. And it just made the room cozy. When you walk into that room, you're even when you talk, it's just quieter. And it just felt so cozy. And I just loved that client just trusted us and just said, go for it. They normally don't do wallpaper, especially a plaid, but they love it. And that was a really fun project too. But I think every project it's been fun, and I've learned so much on all the amazing jobs and I've been able to be a part of.
So do you work internationally as well as nationally with different clients?
Yes. We did a project in London. We also installed a Hawaii job, which I know it's not international, but it's Hawaii. We've done Toronto, Canada. That was really fun for me because I was Canadian. So to do a project in Toronto was really fun. The couple are big art collectors, so they have amazing art, and to help them make sure that the art still stood out without our design overpowering it was great. So yes, we've been able to work on so many different projects all over the country and international as well.
Oh my gosh, that's so neat. So do you like to travel personally as well?
I do. I love to travel. So I got that travel bug from my dad. My dad has been all over the world, and he definitely instilled that in me to have a world mind, and definitely get out of your city and out of your country and explore different cultures. And I think I grew up spending summers in Barbados, so I was always exposed to that culture and always knew that there was more beyond my neighborhood. So I love to travel and can't wait to travel again. So after all of this is over.
So where do you like to travel, and are there any special design finds that you've had?
I love New York. New York's really fun. Just the energy and just the creativity. I always get so inspired going there. Of course, Barbados, that is like second home to me. That's family based. I'll bring back shells. I love the culture. Colors of, I just get so inspired there. So those two offhand are definitely my top two for sure.
Well, and speaking of New York, Kips Bay Showhouse is coming to Dallas, which is incredibly exciting. So do you want to talk a little bit about that and what that's been like?
I'm so excited about this. So Kips Bay is in New York, Palm Beach, and they're coming to Dallas, and they chose Dallas as their third and final city. So after, it'll just be New York, Dallas, and Palm Beach, which I think is really fun, and it supports a great cause. And I think that when it comes, it's going to be in end of September, and it will be running for a month. And I'm so excited to be a part of it. Jan is on the chair this year, so I've gotten to see how it works behind the scenes, from searching for the house to how that process works, and I'll get to experience how to do our room. We already have some great ideas, and I'm just knowing that I'm excited to see all the designers, which will be announced next week, and what they come up with. And I just feel like it's such an honor that Dallas is selected as a design hub, because I feel like Dallas has so many amazing designers and amazing resources, and I'm loving that we're on the map for something as respected as Kips Bay, to choose Dallas as a city.
Well, and I think it's so special because Dwell with Dignity is a beneficiary, which is wonderful, and we're incredibly thrilled about. Yes. But I think you're right. So one of Dwell with Dignity's philosophies is that to be successful, we have to be in a design hub. And so it's almost very specific to Dallas because you have to have the support of the community. You have to have these amazing showrooms. And so what is it about Dallas that makes it so magical for design?
You know, I feel like Dallas just has such great talent, and they've, over the years has just established such great brands and showrooms. And I feel like people have so much, I just feel like there's so much talent in Dallas, and so many great projects and houses, and from, clients that are willing to let designers come into their homes and turn it around and do these amazing things. And I feel like you can have traditional to modern. I feel like there's a mix of style in Dallas. And I feel like that's what makes it. It's not just one thing. I think it's a mix of several things. And I feel like a lot of people have, they're just creative. And I feel like Dallas is a great place for that.
So speaking of being creative, are you creative as far as using your hands or doing anything DIY? Do you like to personalize things?
I don't think I have that talent. Something that I loved doing in college was watercolor. And I just don't honestly have the time to do that as much as I used to. Maybe when my daughter goes to college, I will, but she keeps me pretty busy. But that's definitely something I would go back to as far as using my hands.
Yeah, I do not have that gift either. I'm not the drawing, painting kind,
Yeah.
but I really respect people who have that.
Yes.
But yeah, it is not my gift in life, but that's okay. Everyone has different wonderful gifts and talents.
Exactly. And I'll say every now and again, I'll get into flower arranging. I am not professional whatsoever, but sometimes Trader Joe's will have, peonies, and I'll just cut up arrangement, and I'll love doing stuff like that. So
I have a Trader Joe's obsession, and their flowers are amazing.
yes.
And I never realized how hard it was to arrange flowers. It's something that you take for granted because the people who do it are so good at it.
Yeah.
But that's also something that's really neat is that, especially at Jan Showers, y'all use a lot of plants and florals in your design, which makes everything so earthy, and I love that.
And just a sense of nature is nice. I definitely felt during the quarantine that just having a small arrangement next to wherever I was working just made me happy and added color and life. And I love the touch of floral that's to any room. I think it just is nice to have that, even though it may not live for a long time, but I love flowers too.
Well, I think it's an easy way to test color too in your life and see what you like and what you respond to. What advice would you give to people who are looking to broaden their design sensibility and maybe would like to go bolder, but they just don't know how to?
Well, it can be anything from a pillow to a flower, like you mentioned, to test out a color. I think pillows are a great way to change up space without having a strong commitment. I think about what you have in your closet. What colors are you drawn to when you wear? I feel like Jan says you want to feel good and look good in your room too. So I feel like a lot of people that wear certain colors that look good in those colors, that they also use those in their rooms and look good and feel good as well. So I feel like pillows are a great way. Accessories are a great way. Grabbing a bowl, get candles in a certain color, and just try and experiment. I feel like you should, you'll surprise yourself. And sometimes it's nice to get out of the box. And I feel like you just kind of got to go for it. And as long as it's not temperatious design, sometimes I think we get too serious about design. And, if you don't like the paint color, you can just change it. And it's not, we're not saving lives, and it's okay. If you don't like it in a year, you can change it or change it in less. And I think pillows are probably the fastest and easiest way and most cost-effective way to test out a color.
Well, and you said something that I thought was really poignant, that you're still discovering who you are. And as you discover new parts of your personality, your design is naturally going to change, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think I'm definitely I'm definitely discovering more of who I am and being more daring for myself. And I probably can design somebody else's home easier than I can myself. I don't know why. I guess I can look at a person and they tell me what they want. I can read them very well, but when it comes to me, I can't step outside myself. So it's definitely still a journey. And, it's okay if I just think try. It doesn't always, there's no certain, I don't think as perfect. So if you don't like it, and you can change it up, and then okay, I kind of like that. And whether it's just moving things around your house, just trying to see how you like it, how it feels, and then trying, I move things a lot. So that's usually how I discover what I like or don't like, or what about this? And, that's how I do it.
I love that. And then one question that I'm just super interested in, what do you think is the item that you should splurge the most on in your house, and where can you kind of save a little bit?
Oh, that's a trick question. So I have a big crush on linen. So that's a place, sheets that I definitely have always splurged on those. I think children definitely can mess with that. I remember doing it when my daughter was, I think I got my first pair of Sephora sheets or something, and she was still, 4. And that I learned very quickly that was not the smartest way to do that. But I definitely think that's a place to splurge because you use them every day, and it just feels so nice to have crawl on your bed and it just have the perfect feel or a cooling feel. I also think the same thing about towels. I think so those are the two places. Some places to save, I think, is drapery. I don't think that you have to spend a lot on drapery fabric, because I feel you usually need a lot of fabric for drapery, but I think that's some place you can cut down on the price, because once it's up there, you put a cute trim on it. I think that's a great place to save. Those are probably the two things.
Well, and I love a good towel, and I agree with you. That's one thing, a towel, a bathrobe, but draperies I think is really interesting because I've heard some people who have really spent out on draperies, and I need to invest in some draperies, and so now I know that I don't have to necessarily go top of the line for that.
For the fabric, I think the hardware is what makes it look nice. I do think the hardware is important. So as long as that looks good, you can get by with a lower end fabric on the as for the fabric, the drapery part.
And our last question, I love to know this for everyone. What makes home for you?
Oh goodness, my family. I am when I'm with my family, with my daughter, spending time, that's where my home is, definitely, wherever she is. And she's at that age where she's definitely got her own friends and more social activities. But when we're just hanging out, watching movies or going to get ice cream or whatever it is, that's definitely home for me.
Well, Zara, thank you so much for joining us today. I've absolutely loved getting to know more about you. Thank you for taking the time, and I know you have an insane schedule.
I'm so honored. This was so fun. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Again, I'm Ashley Sharp. I'm the Executive Director of Well with Dignity, and this has been another episode of Dwelling Well. See you next time.